First of all, congratulations. High five. How do you feel?
I feel good. Amazing.
It's pretty awesome. And so I want to thank you for being open to the interview. I know you're going to inspire a lot of students, and I'm going to give you your space to tell your story, give your recommendations. So I just love to give you your space to tell your story, maybe from when you first learned you had to take the TOEFL, kind of all the way through to your passing exam.
Um, I'm applying for the International Dental School in US for the advanced standing. So I was preparing for the exam and I learned that I have to prep for the TOEFL in August 2022. So after 2023, I started prepping for TOEFL, but my score around 90 to 95. I
Mm.
couldn't get more than 95.
How many times did you take it to get to between the 90 to 95,
A
if you
lot
can
of
share?
time. Yeah, around 9, I guess. Yeah.
Mm. And can you talk about that too? Because sometimes it's surprising that the TOEFL, even out of that many attempts, you would assume there might be luck. But
Yeah. Yeah.
what was your experience during those attempts? How were you studying? Did you start to lose a little faith?
Yeah. I started to lose the weight last cycle because I was getting around 94, 95. I was not getting more that. I was trying to take TOEFL as much as I can. I thought I'll get more in the next time. But I didn't apply strategy that I got from the NoteFull.
Tell us about that too. So how did you kind of discover Noteful? What did you use to study that helped you? And what started to create the change where you felt your improvement? And if you can share your final score as well.
On the middle of the January, I took the TOEFL during 14 January. Oh, sorry. I got the 89 on the TOEFL at the time, but
Mhm.
and I realized I could not get more than that. So I started a NoteFull. After a month of preparation, I got 99 on my first attempt.
Super cool. So that must have given you a lot of hope.
Yeah.
And how did you study? So on January you got the 89, and then like a
I
lot
was
of
keep watching your videos and doing homework that you gave us before the class. So I was watching all the videos and following all the strategy. Yeah. And I was prepping like around 40 hours a week.
Wow. So I think there are huge things there. So if I hear you correctly, so around January, you got your 89, and then you felt, okay, it's time for me to go all in. So you took the gold course where you
Yeah.
had the classes. And then, of course, we have the whole thing, right? Classes and then the homework. And you said you just kept watching. And the
Yeah.
key thing was that you said you were studying 40 hours a week, four
Yeah.
zero.
Yeah. 40 hours a week constantly for 4 weeks.
Wow.
And I
And
got
it's
99.
Yeah, perfect. And so tell us so what in those 40 hours a week did you feel you had to do anything special? Did you what was your path during those 40 hours? So someone wants
But
to copy you, what
yeah,
would they do?
I was watching all the videos that you were attending the classes on Monday and Wednesday every time and was doing the homework before the class.
Mm.
All those video I was keep watching and watching. That's it.
That's cool. So it started to get into your brain. It started to change things.
Yeah.
Perfect. And so tell us about so success, congratulations. And it repeats the idea that sometimes it's hard, but yeah, the
Yeah.
average student needs about 100 hours to improve 4 points of that focused study. And so you had the 89 and you scored all the way to 95, that fluctuation. So then you invested about 160 hours, right? 40 hours over 4 weeks. You went all in, which is great. And then over time, you found that you improved all the way to the 99.
And 99 to 101, I thought I can practice a little bit, and I took
Mhm.
one more TOEFL after your class is done. I got 99 again, so I thought I need to watch video again and again. So I did like a 2 more weeks that, and I
The
got
40 hours
101,
per week.
and I got
Perfect.
101 last.
Bravo, bravo. And so I love that story, your commitment, and just to remind everybody, because you improved to a 99, you
Yeah,
invested 160 hours, you clearly leveled up. Beautifully, you took the exam after 2 weeks, you felt like, okay, let me review a little bit, and you got a 99 again. So it kind of
yeah,
shows the craziness of the TOEFL, and it really is like 100 hours we need to study between exams approximately to really
yeah.
feel a change. But bravo to you because right away you said, okay, full power again. So you studied for about 40 hours a week for 2 weeks and then
Yeah,
went from a 99 to 101.
yeah. At the time, I did around 60 hours a week.
Wow. Wow. So I love this too because that means it was about 120 hours for a 2 point
Yeah,
improvement, which makes sense because as you start to raise your score,
increase. Yeah.
it gets even harder because everything has to be so perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So super proud of you, super grateful. I mean, how did you feel when you saw that 101?
I was shocked at the first when I saw.
Did you jump up and down? I would
Yeah.
have. Yeah, that was a total of about, if you're okay, about 12 attempts. Yeah, and you're not alone. I mean, that's why I'm really grateful because a lot of students need to know that's the path. And
Yeah.
so sometimes it helps to know someone's journey. I know you're sharing it so others can learn from you and think to themselves right now, what can I do? Because I can do what she did if I follow her path. And so
Yeah.
tell us, Achal, about success, fantastic, bravo. And what about for each section now to kind of help students? For the reading, what was your kind of average reading score and your final
Before
reading score?
before NoteFull, my average was 19,
19. And then after your studies, you got it to,
28.
yeah, what a powerful improvement. So clearly, something changed. I mean, like the questions changed to your mind, the
Yeah.
clarity changed about, let's see, 160, 120, about 380 hours of study. What changed to go from 19 to 28 to help other students? Like, what did you do that you felt was the most impactful in those hours of study?
Before NoteFull, I was not focusing on the strategy that you were mentioning on the NoteFull.
Hmm.
But after the classes, I was focusing on, like, for example, when we were see the detailed question, you were mentioning like focusing on the keyword and see before and after the sentence.
Hmm.
That's what I did in all the questions. Yeah,
Bravo. So for you, the key thing was, besides, of course, vocab, comprehension, all the stuff you felt when you really memorized every part of each question type strategy,
yeah.
you felt that started to change and your score kept
Mm-hmm.
improving.
Mm-hmm. And you are mentioning that all the steps that we have to remember when we see the different type of the questions, like
Mhm.
we need to focus the keyword and see the before and after. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was doing in all the questions.
Perfect. So kind of that idea that we know the question is kind of
Yeah,
part of a sentence, the answer is another part,
yeah.
and sometimes we have to read
Mm-hmm.
before and after
Yeah.
for a tougher question. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And so what about the listening? Tell us about your kind of original range for the listening and then your final kind of higher score
The
range.
range was 22 to 23 and got again 28.
Super awesome. So again, huge leap. And then so for the listening, what do you think created that movement from the 22s to the 28s?
It's the same, like focusing on the listening section and take more notes. and you were telling about the counting the breathing and seeing about the pause and making the like a square notes that you were
Mhm.
mentioning, dividing in the six part.
And you did that on the TOEFL and you
Yeah,
found it helped you answer questions
yeah,
correct?
yeah. I was taking in divide section notes. So I was like marking all the question which I got from the divided section.
Perfect. So listening in units is what we talk about, like the divided
Yeah.
sections. So I always say like one line down the middle,
Hmm.
two or three lines across, and then we listen to topics.
Yeah.
And then you said the other thing that really
Reading
helped you.
pause.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that helped you kind of pace when a
Yeah.
speaker
Pay
speaks.
attention to changing the topics. Yeah.
Perfect. So for everybody remembering the breathing pattern, like
Yeah.
when a speaker speaks, they speak, 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 stop to take a breath. And you found when you learned, okay, let me listen for that, it helped you follow to the change in topics, to the
Yes.
repetition, take notes a little bit better, correct?
Yes, correct.
Perfect. That's 22 to 28. Amazing. And then for the speaking, tell us kind of your original range and your final range.
For the speaking, it was like a same around 23 to 24. I got 26.
Yeah, this is good. Still great, right? 26. That's a fantastic score. So speaking 22, 23 to the 26, definitely not easy to achieve. A
Yeah.
lot of strength there. I mean, those 3 to 4 points, you you studied, let's see, about probably if we divide the 380 hours by four, I mean, we're talking like 95 hours pretty much
Yeah.
per section on average. So that took a lot. What did you feel was the change in the speaking?
Yeah, I was like speaking naturally when I keep practicing the same topic 10 times, as you were
Mhm.
mentioning. So I was keep practicing same thing like a 10 or 20 times.
And
And I was picking the same any random object, and you were saying we have to find the two reason and like practicing like a question two, three, and four. That's what I was doing. Yeah.
perfect. So what you're saying is that it's sometimes people are a little surprised about how helpful that was.
Yeah.
So you had one question and then you practiced it over 10, 20 times until it felt really natural. So there's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of students, probably you in the beginning, think, why is repeating the same answer helpful? How do you feel like when you practice repeating the same question 20 times, how did that help you?
The first time I was like very scared, but when I keep practicing, I feel like I'm speaking very naturally, taking a pause naturally. Yeah. And following all the pattern, time management. Yeah.
Perfect. And I think that's the key. When we repeat so much as you did with intelligence, not just like a robot, but paying attention, all of a sudden, 15, 20 tries, you're saying that it started to feel natural. The time management, less fear. So, a good tip for everyone who's feeling
Yeah.
stressed with the speaking. And I think you also mentioned that did you, so you would look around your room or you'd walk around and you just make up question number ones?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Random object things.
Perfect. So you just give your opinion and reasons, and that helped you gain confidence to be
Yeah.
natural, feel the
Mm-hmm.
structure of the pattern.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then so for the writing, can you share your original range, your final score?
From original was 19 and I got 21. I was
21. Good.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, I was a little bit low on the writing.
And that happens because every test is a little different. Every test challenges you in different ways. Every section's kind of tough, but from a 19 to a 21 is still, I think there are two things you can share. So one is you stayed and improved. Clearly, you improved every section. What helped you for the writing? And what do you think maybe prevented you from getting a 26 to 28?
Improved was helpful was your AI tool that I
Mm.
used.
So you used it. Good, good. We're going to talk about that now too. So tell us about that. Like what was helpful and then what kind of created the difficulty for you?
It was helpful, but I had to see some grammar mistakes, what I'm making in the writing.
Mm-hmm.
So I used the Grammarly to see that. But your AI was really helpful to like focusing on the example.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And in your own mind, if you had, let's say you wanted to take the TOEFL and do it again and get like a 26, 28 in the writing, what do you feel you would do differently? Like you've studied every
I'll
section.
focus on the grammar. Sorry, I'll focus on the grammar.
So you feel when if you were to improve your grammar because you knew everything else, you think
Yeah.
definitely you'd improve your writing.
Yeah.
Perfect, perfect. So we talked about your amazing story, your reading, listening, speaking, writing. I want to give you a little space. Is there anything else you wanted to share or you wanted to say about your story or to the people listening?
Just keep watching the videos and reviewing all the videos and classes. I think that was for me to getting 101 on the TOEFL.
Yeah. And so for everyone, as they're watching, they're recognizing the hard work that you did, celebrating your wonderful success, right? 100 is difficult to achieve. You made it happen. Your classmates watching, do you think they can pass the TOEFL too?
Yeah. Yes. Of course they can.
Yeah. So, Achal, it was a pleasure. I'm very
Yeah.
grateful for the interview. I congratulate you again.
Thank you.
Bravo. You know it's
Thank
not
you.
easy. You did something amazing and cool, and I appreciate you, wish you well, and hope you'll stay
Yeah.
in
Thank you
touch.
so much. And thank you so much for your guidance. So I got 101.
Yeah, teamwork,
Yeah.
teamwork.